I think the environment has to be
What we are saying is have a heart.
We've got to be able to regenerate our
There'll
economy.
be people who are kind, people who are cruel, but that's life. You can be bigoted about things. I'm fine with that. What's wrong with Singaporeans?
Good evening and welcome to Talk About. Tonight we look at gambling. For a very long time, Singapore firmly resisted casino gambling, with Mr. Lee Kuan Yew famously saying that he would allow casinos over his dead body. But in 2005, after vigorous and impassioned debate, the 40-year-old ban on casino gambling was finally lifted on the carefully considered basis that the economic benefits outweighed the social cost. And financially, it's been a bonanza. Last year, the two casinos grossed a staggering $7.7 billion, and within 4 years, tourism jumped by almost 50% to 14.4 million visitors a year. But while the economics may be compelling, the toll on society has raised concerns. Even before the casinos, Singaporeans have been considered the second biggest gamblers in the world since 2002. And after the casino opening, 7 in 10 gamblers, the addicts, were blaming their addiction on the integrated resorts. Counsellors are reporting 50% increases in people seeking help, not necessarily only to the casinos, but also to the recent interest in online gambling. We take a hard, cold look at the facts and the true cost of gambling in Singapore tonight. And we have a cross-section of people, from lawyers to counsellors, to academics, and a reformed addict. I'll ask my guests to introduce themselves, beginning with Mabel Cho from the NUS.
Good evening, everyone. I am an associate professor in NUS Business School, and my research area is in risk management and supply chain management. But I also look at how to manage the risk in operating a gambling game, basically. But during my research time, I also noticed that there are some interesting phenomena among how people actually make their bets. So I guess that may have something to do with this gambling addiction. I suppose that's why I was asked to come today.
And we have a psychiatrist, yes. Dr. Winslow.
Hi, I'm a general psychiatrist who has an interest in addiction medicine. I've been working with addiction medicine for the past 22 years, and I think I was involved in a lot of the planning in addiction services when they were started up, especially with regards to developing the counseling services for problem gambling.
Thank you.
And my name is Dick Lam, and I'm a psychotherapist by training. I'm the current executive director of One Up Center, an organization that helps gamblers to kick off their habit.
Not addicts, but gamblers only.
Mostly gamblers.
Okay. And we have a lady with us.
Hi, my name is Suzanne. I used to work in the airlines for 15 years, and I was a compulsive gambler before, but now I'm a reformed person, so totally out of that.
Okay. On my left, I have a lawyer, Mr. Yap Wai Ming.
Okay, I'm a lawyer in private practice. My main areas of practice is actually in mergers and acquisitions. I started on advising on the gaming practice areas since before the concepts for casinos were actually mooted in Singapore. I listed the 2 casinos in Singapore, Lascelles International from Australia, and subsequently Genting. I've also invited to sit on the boards of some of these casino companies, including some of the online gaming companies that are listed on the London, New York, and Toronto Stock Exchange.
So you're on the board of one of the casinos in Singapore?
Previously, I've stepped down from the board. I think I do
Which
more.
Which casino was
that's
this?
Genting.
Genting, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So beyond that, I think I do a fair bit of work for the casinos related support services, advising on these approved gaming machine suppliers and manufacturers, some of the payment gateway providers. I'm also the member of the International Masters of Gaming Law, as an association of gaming attorneys in the world.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have a counsellor here, Billy.
Yeah. Okay, my name is Billy Lee. and I'm a pastor of a church, Blessed Grace Church, and our church runs a support group for gamblers. Our support group meeting is on every Tuesday, and we have about 30 to 40 regular members who come for the support group.
Okay. And Mr. Suresh?
Hi. Well, my name is Suresh, as you mentioned. I'm a lawyer in practice. One of my areas of practice is gambling regulation, not just casinos, sports betting, other forms of gambling as well.
And short and sweet, and now we have Brian Tan.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Brian. I'm a lawyer practicing also with an international firm. My practice is primarily in technology law. As a result, we get quite a wide exposure to different entities with some exposure to gambling activities, websites, manufacturers of products, even governments. So that's where my interest is.
Thank you. We want to look at 4 years on now. Are the sentiments against gambling or against the casinos is strong? Let me give you some statistics first. In the year 2010, One Hope Center used to see 40 to 50 people at its weekly support sessions, but today they see about 80 people a week.
That's right. Yeah.
The Hiding Place, a halfway house in Jalan Kayu, used to see 10 people in its weekly sessions, but this has risen to 30 after the casinos opened. We Care Community Services in Kampung Bugis used to have 15 member support groups for family members of gamblers in 2008, but now it has 3 groups totaling 45 people. Voluntary self-exclusion orders for foreigners have increased to 92,700 last year from 55,000 in the year before. And there are other statistics to go on. So my question now is, has the situation become worse, or what has the casinos done for the addiction problem in Singapore? Anybody?
Well, I'll start off with the last statistic that you cited, which is the increase in self-exclusion orders for foreigners. I think this is primarily driven by the programs by employers to make all their foreign workers on work permits to self-exclude themselves when they come into Singapore. So it's not really an indication of anything other than the fact that employers are telling all the employees to sign up.
Okay. Well, what about the local situation? Because there has been an increase. Is this increase symptomatic of a problem that is growing? And how does it compare with the same problem in other parts of the world? Are the numbers very high in Singapore or not?
Well, I'm not an expert on gambling addiction. I would defer to those who actually do the counseling. I'll be interested to know how many of people who come with compulsive or addiction problems, gambling is related to the casino, or is it online gaming, the other very common form of gambling available in Singapore?
Okay, we have a few counselors here. Go ahead. It's One Hope Center.
Well, as far as One Hope Center is concerned, we are seeing something like 530 compulsive gamblers last year. This has been an increase of something like 17% compared to the previous year. And therefore, as far as the situation is concerned, we are of the opinion that basically this problem is not getting smaller, but it's bigger right now.
But before the casino started, what was the situation?
Well, basically,
or were you formed after the casinos were established?
One Hope Center was formed way before the casino started their operation on our shores.
And what were the numbers before?
The numbers were pretty small. They were probably in the 100 plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when the casino started in 2010, how many did you get that year and the year after?
We saw a slight increase initially, but thereafter, in the year 2012, there was a big increase, especially in the year 2013. Yeah.
Okay, what's your experience?
This gambler support group, our Gamblers Recovery Center, we only started about 1.5 years ago, August 2012. So the clients that we see, they are involved in all kinds of gaming, online betting, soccer. We have Singapore pools, race horses. We have those people who go on board ships, cruise liners. We have casinos too. We have those people who go to casinos too, and some even fly overseas or go to Macau casinos because they don't want to be seen in Singapore casinos. So we have seen an increase, and especially in online gambling. Online gambling where it's very easily accessible.
Okay, we're going to go into that because that's a very important new area that has emerged.
Yeah.
But So
we have seen an increase. We've seen a definite increase in the number of phone calls that are coming in. It's been increasing. And the thing about gamblers is that they need to hit rock bottom before they'll seek help. So what we see could just be the tip of the iceberg. And there are many people who still, as long as they can find a means to gamble, they won't come and seek help. They only seek for help when nobody will lend them any more money, when the loan sharks and the money lenders are chasing after them, then they will come and seek help.
Let me put that question to Dr. Winslow then, from the psychological viewpoint, emotional viewpoint, whatever. Have you been treating more patients recently with addiction, gambling addiction?
I've had a change in employment, so compared to the numbers that were coming through the Institute of Mental Health, no. But let me just say something about the increase in numbers. For example, when we started addiction services at the Institute of Mental Health in 2001, before that, there were no statistics or nobody who was coming for, let's say, sexual addictions or compulsive behaviors or gambling addiction. And yet, once we started and people realized that there was a service available, more and more people started turning up. And I think one thing that we can credit the casinos for is that they have made everybody aware that there is such a thing as a gambling addiction. After people who gamble, there will be a person, just the same way that there are people who drink alcohol, there will be a percentage who develop problems with alcohol, and there will be a percentage that develop compulsive use of it. Now the same with gamblers. And so what we are seeing may reflect two parts. One, it may reflect simply increase or escalation in the knowledge. If people don't know that there's any help available anywhere or have never thought about it, then they are unlikely to seek help.
And they didn't know that they were suffering from some kind of
vast majority of people, when we first started services, the first statement that people would make to me when they came for help was, Doc, I want you to know that I only have a problem with gambling, I'm not mad. And that's basically the statement.
Okay.
Motherhood statement here. This is I only have a problem with gambling. I can't stop, but I'm not mad or I'm not.
Yeah, because you were in the Institute of Mental Health.
True.
So they had to clear that.
They had to clear that. Yes. But you see, the fact is that people started turning up, started seeking help. And the more the information has been going out that there is such a thing as gambling addiction, there is such a thing as help available for people, so you don't have to suffer in silence, you don't have to lose everything, you don't have to lose your family, your children, your house and everything else. So it might be a reflection that we are actually doing a fairly good job of picking up people earlier and making available services. I believe you said earlier, I'm not too sure whether I heard right, but you said that in 2002, even before the casinos were opened, we were already the second largest